Hi, I'm going to be looking at now the beginning of the cracks in support for Trump, starting with women and women that are in government. Marjorie Taylor Greene, and I think Nancy Mace may go that way too. She did leave the conference, the meeting, in tears. So I think that these women and Marjorie's prepared to name names herself, she said. So let's just take a look, starting off, at how um, this will affect support within the MAGA movement, in the citizens, and other women that are, you know, had been supportive. Or is he going to lose more women in government and citizen citizens? I'm using the Visions of Life Tarot. This is my first time using it, and this is the second edition. It will be tagged. If you're looking to pick up the decks I use, they've enabled this feature. I do get a small commission, but I do try and pick the more reasonable cost to you first. Um, that also has a nice commission for me, but I'm not picking the highest price deck, just so you know. Deck. I wouldn't do that. Couldn't do that. That wouldn't be right. Okay. So anyway, and there's usually a little tag in the lower left of the screen that will say, I don't know. It should have like a little shopping bag icon, and it indicates items that I've used or mentioned, so that if you're interested, you can have a benefit, I can have a benefit. It's a win-win. All right, let's try this new deck. So how do things look? I've Marjorie Taylor Greene says also apparently that they are being bullied by the men and maybe some women, I don't know. But my impression is her male counterparts. I want to see, will Marjorie Taylor Greene name names? She's a Gemini, and I think she's going to name names. I do. It wouldn't surprise me. Let's just put it that way. And I think any bullying from her male colleagues is only going to cause her to double down in that anger, I think, and pursue it. So, as a giant flying FU to them, that's my feeling here. All right, this was a new deck, so I really wanted to give it a darn good shuffle. Okay, let's see what we get. Well, Marjorie Taylor Greene, a Queen of Swords. Will she name names as she has just basically sworn to do in the Epstein files after this meeting and dealing with her male colleagues being jerks? See what we get. I'm getting a card of interchange. Look at the leaves. They look like lips. And solicitude. Oh, I think what she has to share without even looking up briefly what these two cards mean in this new deck to me, I think people are going to eat up what she has got to lay down about this. They're going to like what she has to share, what she's got to say, and appreciate her efforts. Let's just see if I'm on point. Okay, so interchange and solicitude. Let me put this on pause. This deck definitely uses, you know, different words for their major arcana. So, or their, well, their various, the various cards. So, but yes, it is as, I presumed that it is a connection, it is communication where there is an emotional connection and appreciation. There's a um, interchange, connection, exchange, emotional flow. And I don't get a sense of it being blocked or problematic. In fact, I get the sense of that people want what she is sharing. So with solicitude, and solicitude is care, attention, emotional warmth. Again, there is an emotional warmth for what she is sharing. So there's emotional support for her with what she is sharing. And so I think that she will do that. It's going and it does affect her and I think Nancy on an emotional level that supersedes and overrides what her colleagues would her male colleagues would choose to do. I'm so glad that she is working on the right side here. And if you notice the figure in solicitude, there is someone that's rolled up their sleeves, is prepared to do the work, and is feeding all these various children things they're appreciative. So it's a sincere effort and a sincere, I think, appreciation. And the lips look feminine on this tree. So there's a protectiveness, there is a connection to the feminine that these women aren't denying. And to me, that's the influence, whether they know it or not, of the rise of the divine feminine. Sick and tired of women being thrown under the bus, over the bridge, you know, and getting the crap into the deal. And I hope that more women in government and in MAGA will realize they're getting the raw end of the stick here. And this is not helpful to them or their daughters, especially. So I'm hopeful that this is kind of cracking the sky where that's concerned with them and conservative women. Okay, so let's see what we get elsewise here. We get humanism. Yes, the humanism comes out beyond partisan nonsense. Doing the right thing. Doing the right thing, MTG, with this. Stay on course with that. We have limitations. And I think she's recognizing that where she can really feel good in utilizing her office to do something for those that need help, and she can do something. There's a sense of empowerment for her in this as a woman. To help citizens that have been denied. If you look closely at the various people, there's a sense of like, I can help those that, are having running up against issues here. I can help to change that in some way. Oh my goodness, this even resembles her to some degree. Trouble. But she's catching grief for it. And she will be in trouble with Trump and I'm sure her male colleagues. Oh my goodness, look at what she gets. Trouble, and they're trying to manipulate her. Who's the puppet? All the puppets are her male colleagues that are run by the shadow ruler of, I'm sure, Stephen Miller, Trump himself, of course, who is a puppet of Putin. She's going to feel the heat for it. I hope she'll share that so we can support her and tell her to keep trucking. Now, of course, we've seen that she's going to receive nothing but trouble from her base with not her base, but her colleagues and leadership at hand. But we do get a card of balance. Loss of control. So I think her actions in bringing balance really bring a sense of a loss of control. She's going to be probably also told that she's out of pocket or out of control with what she's doing. But I think, though this might stress her, I think she's going to be gladly out of control because what I see in this picture of loss of control are a bunch of dudes looking at their phones and another fella who's got their pants and they're all standing in their underwear and they don't even realize it. They're the fools. And that will probably be Marjorie showing them out. I hope so. And to me, this is also a reminder that usually most people are not all good or all bad. There's a, there's a balance. Not all light or all shadow. And though she might have a lot of shadow going on, maybe this is a bit of her light coming through. Come on, I say, you know, keep going with that. So it's going to show that that there is a loss of balance and that there is an imbalance at hand in those that are supporting someone who is supporting those that have brought harm through trafficking, an SA abuse of minors, of children, of high school girls. We get, oh, this is interesting, deliverance and insensibility. I think she's going to start to unpack some of the brainwashing. And look at this, the insensibility of those that um, just don't take action to help. And that are being led astray. So I think there's some unpacking of the conditioning of her mind that's gone on. And she's going to start to wake up and see how insensible this is, that it doesn't make sense to support Trump because people's real lives are at hand here. You don't just watch someone drown, you take action to help them if you can, and they should be doing the same as her. And she will probably say as much. Pragmatism, sorry, and gain. It so it looks like pragmatism and pays off. That's strategy, a plan. Sometimes if you are, it can cause, if you're too focused on it, it can cause you to miss out. But I think in this case, it shows that it pays off. There's some strategy that I think she's going to employ that is going to get the results that she seeks. Okay. Education. And it's paired with persistence. She's not going to stop trying to tell people what the, to get them to think for themselves and to see the truth and to know what the truth is. At least with this matter, I think she's not going to stop rolling up her sleeves and exposing and educating people. I see her going in that direction, and I think they're going to say that she's out of control, but she's going to be saying, no, you're out of control. Look in the mirror. And I think she's going to figure out a way to make her efforts succeed. And it looks like it will pay off. And she's not going to give up. Changes and suspicion. This will cause, I think, more of her female colleagues and definitely citizenry, uh, her, the people she's representing, Georgia, to also perhaps be more suspicious, and definitely at least more white women that have supported MAGA, especially those in the South. She's going to make her colleagues look bad from what I can see. There's some strategy there. Okay. Now, will Trump and the GOP now lose tremendous support, will it be quickened or rather like ignited by the likes of Marjorie Taylor Greene, hopefully Nancy Mace, that have seen through his plan trying to disrupt and call this whole thing a hoax. You know, he sent the planes over while they're trying to talk and they're being bullied, according to Marjorie. So, but that's not going to stop her. It's going to only look like it looks like, make her more passionate. So let's see how that's going to go. So will the schism further divide MAGA? Will Trump continue to hemorrhage support as a result of his denial of Epstein's quote unquote list? And I want to see what they're going to do when they see that his name is on there. Okay. I'm getting the card of balance paired with consistency. My sense is that, we've had this so out of balance. There's just been such an extreme. I think that we're going to start to slowly with this um, shift away from such an extreme, that extreme will lose its hold. And I think both with men and women in that movement that have been like demanding these files that, where this has mattered to them. To be fair, so you take a look at that, I think so. So I think that schism actually will open wider because more people are becoming less radicalized by Trump, where it comes to these survivors and the Epstein files. But I want to see what's going to happen when Marjorie's got to say Trump's name. I see competence, and debility. Mutual assistance. So this is working across the aisle. And memories. Yeah, it's going to say, remember when we worked across the aisle? Doesn't that feel good? Now, the competence and debility, I feel like there's a key word from that debility card that I need to pick up on. Hopefully I can do it quickly. This is a new deck to me, and they have not put this in alphabetical order. Wish they would have, for my sake, anyways. For everyone's sake. So let's see here. Let me put this on pause. Okay. So with the competence and the debility card, I believe that they are going to show out the fact that it isn't a hoax and it is just pure weakness. And I believe a lack of motivation on the part of Trump to release these files. And there's no reason why he should other than that, because the work's being done. It's competent. It's not a hoax. And I think she will continue to vouch for the information being authentic, and that anyone opposing it has a weak argument, not a ground to stand on, because the information is factual. And here she's correct. And she will, it looks like, keep consistent with the facts here. And I'm seeing that the effect it will be effective. I think people will appreciate this and maybe even join her. Encumbrance. She may find that she feels so much lighter in this effort, as well as others that see how heavy what someone's denial is for them to try and carry around, and that they are concealing things, and they are making things harder than they have to be with this refusal, trying to also, with the likes of the planes flying and stuff, disrupt it, make it difficult for them, because he's got something to hide. He's not who he says he is. And the facade, the mask is going to fall off. I keep getting that motif, whatever, for him, of the mask falling away. And I think that just means, yes, more of those that have supported him, both in government and women especially, and I believe within the populace, are not going to like his response to Marjorie pointing out the truth. It's going to even sit more with them. Okay. And I think with the persistence and the rebuttal of his saying it's a hoax, I think that's going to start making people in MAGA start to think more. So, yes, they are going to rethink their support. She's not going to give up. They're going to be the welcome mat. They're going to be thinking, is this, the wrong, am I supporting the wrong person? Has he pretended to be somebody other than he is? Gasp. Yes. It's too bad you didn't believe other people because you couldn't relate to them or didn't want to relate to them. Now that there's something you can relate to, by golly, listen. And yeah, there's an ending. TikTok. There's an ending of complacency. That means a lot of people that threw their vote to him out of complacency because they just didn't like blah blah blah, they're not going to feel that inclined anymore. They want to know that someone's going to make an effort for them, and this is going to further erode and cause a greater divide within MAGA for sure. Less complacency. In fact, this would say an end to it. And it has to do especially also with the cost of everything being so high, and financial matters, and Trump's, ending. This transformational time. They will shed their support. They're going to see exploitation, and they're going to want someone in handcuffs. A requirement. They do like that. Lock them up. They are going to want those on the client list locked up. And in fact, with the requirement, it's like if you want something from me, you have to make sure that these client listed people get charged. Whoa. Danger. Now we're getting like what looks like these are COVID spores and avoidance. I think this will be a distraction tactic, that there's maybe hopefully that's what it is. But it looks like there might be, is this, I don't know why it would be saying that. Obscurity. And confusion. Yeah, it's a distraction tactic. They might even go to say, "Oh, hey everyone, there's a new pandemic issue," trying to, I think, distract, use something even if it isn't COVID, maybe distractions. Um and I think what they try and say is going to be so obscure that it's confusing. It's going to also cause many of them to rethink, um, thinking perhaps back to COVID and the other things that he's said, I'm sure, and how he is actually word salad with obscurity as well, and the confusion, that he's looking more and more like he shouldn't be in office to these people. Femininity is having its day, on the rise. Now they're trying to stop women. It says stoppage. They're trying to stop the women, I think, in the GOP and women, period. But there's justice. And we have to bring this manipulation and the manipulation of justice to justice. Automation, silence. You know, people need to get active and demand it, because they're trying to silence people so that they're mindless. I really do think that this is going to continue to grow now in a very interesting uh, direction, with the likes of Marjorie and perhaps some of the other women in the GOP. I really hope so. I hope this reading is accurate. Sensibility and despair. Because people are not using good sense in supporting him. This has to continue to be pointed out. And that he's a grudge keeper. And I think we have maybe a new ally with her in educating people, actually, that letting them know that this is his grudges, not based on any factual concern. This is him playing games, playing in their face. Self-sufficiency, payback. And incompetence. Now look at that incompetence with the medical supposedly doctor there, and they've got a game. Is that a whistle? No, it is a stethoscope. But they're rolling the dice with this card. And hopelessness. I think it will end up showing out how the problems that we have now are because of Trump, and that his health and his competency are too big of a gamble to continue to support, at the very least. I get purposefulness. This is a parachute. It's green. That's why it's a clover as well. Purposefulness and race. So I think this will light a fire under people's rear ends to remove their support. And in fact, I think seek to bring him and those on that list to justice. And this is perhaps how we actually, I'm hoping, begin to finally come a bit more together. All right, I'm going to leave it right there. Let me know what you think. And all we can do, as far as this reading is concerned, is wait and see how things play out. If you appreciate readings like this, please do give me a thumbs up. I would appreciate it. Thank you so much. Mwah.